that wasn't a very good deal. But the reason I bought it is because it was orange, one, and I like the color orange. And secondly, it said for men. And I was sort of new in this whole area, so I wanted to make sure I got something that was for men. So it said Jovan musk oil for men. And the third thing is, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe women dig oily musk smell. So I did a little research. What is a musk? What's that smell? And I found out that musk, that odor actually comes from a gland inside a musk deer. And well, that makes sense. I mean, what woman couldn't resist an organ ripped from a deer sprinkled with a little bit of oil? Right? That would smell fantastic. And what is it with some of the names of these colognes? Brute. It's kind of making a comeback now. Isn't that the big sweaty guy that beats up people half his size? And Wild Turkey? I mean, is that going to smell like the Thanksgiving bird or the Kentucky bourbon or both combined? What's that? And then you have Polo, the smell of sweaty men and sweaty horses and turf. And then what about Old Spice? Can you imagine the QC, the quality control department of Old Spice? Bring that over here, let me smell this. No, this is way too fresh. You need to leave this sitting out a little bit longer, all right? And bring it back in a few weeks when it smells old, and then we'll do it. But here's the deal. I think all men's cologne should be named after Clint Eastwood movies. That's a good idea, all right? Hang 'em high. That sounds great. Are you wearing Hang 'em high? Darn right. Right? High Plains Drifter. It's for that guy that kind of makes a statement that, hey, I don't want to get too tied down here. Right? Pale Rider. That's for like the pasty white guy like me that looks like he has no game, but it kind of says, hey, smell me and see. Or you got Magnum Force, right? Man, if I had cologne that was called Magnum Force, I'm putting that on before I get in the shower. Sudden Impact, you don't even have to talk on the date, right? Then you have my personal favorite, Kelly's Heroes. Sort of the generic brand would be the good, the bad, and the ugly. Covers everything, a particular favorite of schizophrenics, all right? And then Gran Torino, of course, which makes the clear statement that I will always love my car more than I love you. And then he wasn't in this movie, but you'd also have a cologne called Star Trek, and that would be the favorite of guys who never date. Sorry, that was too easy. Speaking about smell, is anyone doing the potty training thing here? Raise them high, okay? Is anyone doing that with your children? Because that's hard too. Sometimes that's even harder. Well, I think guys are pretty practical. Man, when we first got married, we had, 14 months later, we have this little kid, and everybody's got advice, and we didn't have any money, and all this, and they said, we need to do cloth diapers. I'm like, okay, and so all these people bought us cloth diapers. And so, bring our little papoose home, and Carol Ann, we have our first dirty diaper to change, and Carol Ann brings me in for that event, which was completely unnecessary. And she then, pulls back the diaper, and I see that, and my first thought is, we need some bacon. Man, we need to draw that infection right out of there, because there is something wrong here. Right? But then she's proceeded to tell me how we need to do this thing, how we need to clean it and sterilize it, do all this kind of things. And after doing all of that, I made 3 commitments. The one was this, that no matter how many jobs I had to work, we would use disposable diapers. Second commitment I made was that all of my children would be potty trained by the age of 2. I don't know well. And then the third commitment I made was that we would use all of the hundreds of cloth diapers that we've been given as disposable diapers. So man, I would do anything to get my girls potty trained. It didn't matter. I'd bribe them, duct tape them to the toilet seat. I mean, it didn't matter, right? But there's just one of my daughters, one of the things we did every day is we'd get a book, we'd read a book, and we'd eat a popsicle together. And I got to thinking, hey, we could accomplish just a little bit more in this time. So we then got popsicles, got our book, we went into the bathroom, and we would just spend time in there. And I am proud to say that barely over the age of 2, that daughter was potty trained. It was awesome. Caroline hated it. But then later on, for like the next 3 years of her life, this daughter sometimes would be playing in a room outside playing. She would come in, she would wash her hands, she'd go into the kitchen, grab a little bowl, grab a plate, put some food on that baby. She'd then go get a book, and then she would go into the restroom. And she'd come out a half hour later with a smile on her face, a clean plate, and I think a clean inside. And as a father, I was very proud. Carol Ann, not so much. You know, some guys be like, well, my daughter can sing her ABCs. I'm like, oh, that's great. My daughter can eat a PBJ, a cheese stick, throw down a cup of Kool-Aid, read her New Testament children's Bible, and go to the bathroom all at the same time, so there. Very, very proud of here. I think what happens is guys sometimes just, we're practical and we make things too tough on ourselves. So we think, well, what's the practical thing to do here? What's the logical? What's the thing that makes the most sense to do here? And guys do that all the time. And the problem is that if you make that kind of a decision and you're close friends with another couple or another guy, and that sort of goes the wrong way and causes some pain in your wife, then by association you're guilty too. And it's horrible, right? Because here's how it works. Your wife will come to you someday and she'll say, can you believe what Roger did? Now guys, at that moment, you need to feign a heart attack. I mean, that is your best move that you can make right there. I mean, just go down. You need distraction. You need to create a sense of emergency. You need to get out of that conversation as quick as you possibly can. But however, if you've already done that, or you're not quick enough, your wife's just going to continue on. She'll say, can you believe what Roger did? Can you believe that he's going to the Super Bowl in Miami just because he won some tickets? Can you believe that? And his wife, she has to take all 8 children and drive across Nebraska, and the dog and the mom, and she has to go to the family reunion with her 12 siblings. Can you believe he went to the Super Bowl instead of that? Can you believe that? And again, you got a couple options here, right? I mean, you can take up for the brother or you can just sell him out. And I used to take up for the brother, but nowadays I sell the guy out as quick as I possibly can. I just throw him under the bus. And so what I'll try and do is just have this horrified look on my face, like, he did what? You mean he would rather be in Miami watching a Super Bowl in February than driving across blizzard in Nebraska going to a family reunion? What kind of guy is that? I can't believe that he would do that. And then after you say that, again, you need to do some Usain Bolt and get out of there as fast as you possibly can, because there's another question coming. And that question is the worst of all questions. And so if you don't get out of there and you're stuck, then all of a sudden your wife's going to turn to you and she said, you would never do that, would you? And again, you have some options here. You can tell the truth or you can lie, and both are going to go terribly wrong for you. And I think that's one of the main reasons why husbands sometimes have a hard time talking to their wives. You guys have been awesome. Thanks so much, man.